Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Anita Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up in this week's top stories, we learn how Tzu Chi first set foot in Cambodia and how its missions have taken root in the country. Tzu Chi volunteers in Turkey help Syrian refugees prior to the onset of winter by holding relief distributions. Lastly, Malaysia Tzu Chings in Malacca set up a tutoring team to help a brother-sister pair who struggles with their schoolwork improve their studies. In 1994, Cambodia was struck by continuous heavy rain, which resulted in severe flooding in 13 different provinces across the country. Cambodia was later hit by drought, which led to poor harvest. To help, Taiwan Tzu Chi volunteers arrived with rice, seeds, and even water pumps. In our next report, we go back in time to see how Tzu Chi first started in Cambodia and how the Buddhist NGO's missions have taken root in the country.
A 4-year-old girl shyly hides under a steel house with her neighbor. As the little girl's family of 13 couldn't make ends meet, her parents decided to end their lives by putting poison in their food. Luckily, the girl was out searching for food, so she escaped.
这是面，面要用开水泡。米拿大个刀，啊，这个是糖果哈，这是糖，这个是饼。
Taiwan Tzu Chi volunteers first set foot in Cambodia in 1994 to conduct relief distributions. Although the country is known for its natural beauty and rich heritage, years of civil war have left many living below the poverty line. In 1994, Cambodia was struck by continuous heavy rain, which led to severe flooding across 13 provinces. To make matters worse, the country was later hit by drought. With the assistance of local Taiwanese businessmen, the Cambodian government sought help from the Tzu Chi Foundation. On November of the same year, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived in Cambodia to conduct disaster assessments and distributions.
能改来了，
这个不可以改了，这要另没有办法救了。
Seeing the devastation left by the disasters, Tzu Chi decided to provide water pumps to help farmers living in hard-hit provinces to get rid of excessive water in their fields. The volunteers also presented underprivileged families with much-needed rice. At the distribution venue, everyone was all smiles. Some told the volunteers that they came the day before to line up. To make sure local residents didn't have to sleep on empty stomachs before harvest, Tzu Chi volunteers hand out 1.64 million tons of rice and 6 million tons of seeds to the needy in Prey Vang and Teco provinces.
My trip to Cambodia was a life-changing experience. After seeing the lives of the local residents, I finally understood the meaning of poverty. After that trip, everyone vowed to bring hope to those in greater need across the globe. Before, Taiwanese businessmen were known to the Cambodian government for establishing entertainment businesses. Their impression of us changed completely after Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiwan came to conduct relief distributions.
我们台商都是完全呢把这个形象扭转掉。
Despite Tzu Chi's affinity with Cambodia being interrupted by political instability, the volunteers' love for the land never faltered. This is not the Cambodia it used to be. As Cambodia marches towards democracy, companies from across the globe have started to set foot here. The Tzu Chi Foundation has also taken root in Cambodia, expanding its charity missions far and wide.
We don't have many volunteers in Cambodia, but everyone always works hand in hand.
In Phnom Penh, the capital city of Cambodia, there's only one certified Tzu Chi volunteer for training volunteers and some 80 community volunteers. Among those training to become a certified Tzu Chi volunteer is Taiwanese businessman Xie Mingxun, who used to be an alcoholic.
After I attended Tzu Chi Entrepreneur Seminar for the third time, I decided to quit drinking. I want to tell all men out there, if you want to have harmonious family, you should join Tzu Chi. By joining Tzu Chi, you will gain tremendous happiness, just like me. My wife used to frown all the time. Now, she always has a smile on her face.
Offstage, Xi's wife happily holds up a paper on which is written the word vow. After joining countless home visitations, trainees have discovered their love for Cambodia. This is Hong Dawei, who used to drink day and night.
When she is drunk, she'll beat her children. She says when she doesn't drink, she will use the time to collect plastic bottles and wash clothing for others to earn money.
The local Tzu Chi office has also become a spiritual home for many overseas Taiwanese. This is Lo Cho-ing, who is here at the office to donate a bamboo coin bank that is filled with love donated by Lo and her colleagues.
I have encountered many charity organizations in Cambodia, and I finally found Tzu Chi. I hope members of the local Chinese community can also walk the Tzu Chi path.
Despite being limited in number, in the years to come, local volunteers promise to continue to spread the Buddhist NGO's philosophy far and wide and reach out to those in greater need.
In 2014, the Tzu Chi Foundation, in cooperation with the Taiwan Council of Agriculture, delivered 100 tons of rice to Jordan. Volunteers in Jordan recently began a distribution of that rice to help the needy in and around Jordan's Mafraq province, with stops at an orphan and single-parent organization, a Catholic-run medical center, and the tent city of Zatari. Here's more. Following the arrival of 100 tons of rice from Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers in Jordan first deliver the rice to an organization for orphans and single parents in Mafraq province. It is a scene of love, but also helplessness. Refugees from Syria also arrive in hopes of receiving some rice, but to maintain order during the distribution, volunteers have no choice but to keep the distribution centered on local Jordanians.
Ah, good?
Very good.
Hannah, sister, you are good.
Volunteers next bring 100 bags of rice for this Catholic-run medical center, ensuring patients and those caring for them will have food to eat. That last leg of the trip is the tent city of Zatari, where volunteers face their biggest test yet. Despite the weather, everyone remains calm. Volunteers make balloon animals for the children, and adults wait in line for their bags of rice. The next weather front, however, has everyone running for cover. Hail and torrential rain do little to stop the volunteers and their 14-year-old mission in this desert nation. Following the rice distribution in Jordan's Mafraq province, a second rice distribution was carried out in Al Ramtha on November 7th, helping a total of 400 local Jordanian families. In addition, volunteers also prepared emergency cash and milk powder to help Syrian refugees in the area.
Okay. Ready? Go!
Here in Al Ramtha, Tzu Chi's rice distribution is carried out with the usual respect and humility.
Shukran.
The 2 bags of 10-kilogram rice for each family came as a blessing for many Jordanians. However, the weight of love for some was maybe just a little too heavy to carry.
Shukran.
Fortunately, a volunteer came to the boys' rescue just in time. Today's distribution was organized by less than 10 Tzu Chi volunteers. However, with the help of local Jordanians, 800 bags of rice were unloaded off the truck in no time.
These are the parents of my Taekwondo students, as well as the coach. They all came to help.
Not forgetting about the Syrian refugees, Tzu Chi volunteers also distributed emergency cash and milk powder to 50 families. At the distribution, volunteers came across 4-year-old Lana, a deaf-mute girl who volunteers previously helped to apply for a school that caters for children with special needs. Clearly, the volunteers' efforts had paid off.
Concentrations inside to color inside the circle.
Lana's mother happily shares her daughter's progress with the volunteers. It seems Tzu Chi's seeds of compassion and goodness have taken root here in the war-torn Middle East. As the Syrian civil war rages into its 4th year, thousands of Syrians continue to flee their country every day to escape the bloodshed and seek shelter in neighboring countries such as Turkey. To help address the problems confronting these refugees, Tzu Chi volunteers there organized 2 distributions and provided close to 1,000 Syrian refugee families with blankets and warm clothing prior to the onset of winter. Istanbul, the largest city in Turkey, is always bustling with activity. However, amid the hustle and bustle, children can be spotted begging for money in the streets.
Where are you from? Syria.
Syria.
Syria?
Syria.
One day, I came across a child at a sightseeing area who wasn't wearing any shoes. He was begging for money alongside the road. I noticed that he was Syrian, and I thought maybe I could help him. We took a train to his home, and when we arrived, I saw that the entire area was occupied by Syrian refugees.
The ongoing civil war has forced Syrians to flee their homes into neighboring countries to escape the bloodshed. Despite being out of harm's way, one of the biggest problems confronting the Syrian refugees, however, is adequate shelter.
像这样子的地方啊，这里面都是水。
They live in such harsh conditions. Water seeps through the wall right by where the children sleep.
Seeing the harsh living conditions of the refugees, following the home visits, Tzu Chi volunteers here in Turkey decided to help.
Geçinebilmesi için bu zor dönemde herkesin kalbini ısıtabilmek için hazırlanmıştır.
وتحت المظلة السماوية وفوق أرض نعيش أسرة وعائلة كأن وحدة ونحن الآن في شهر تشرين ثاني وعلى أبواب فصل الشتاء بارد والمرة الأولى في تاريخ جمعية.
Despite their limited manpower, Tzu Chi volunteers still managed to execute the distribution successfully, giving out 3,738 blankets to 884 families. Even more praiseworthy was the fact that many Syrians took it upon themselves to bring help wherever they could, including 11-year-old Owis.
I'm very sad now because I leave Damascus and Syria and my friends in Syria.
90% of the students in Syria have given up on their education due to financial struggles. I know how much these children yearn for an education. I hope someone can help them find a way.
You're welcome.
Refugees express their heartfelt gratitude as they walk away with the aid supplies in their hands. Volunteers hope that the symbol of love from Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide will bring the warmth these refugees need to carry them through the winter. In Malaysia's Malacca, a brother-sister pair have been falling behind in school, much to the distress of their family. To the rescue have been Tzu Chings, who for the past year have been providing extra tutoring every Thursday night for the children. After a year of such efforts, in November 2014, the brother and sister both received Tzu Chi's New Shoot scholarships as a result of their academic improvement and character. Let's learn more.
a brother and sister pair get on stage to accept their new shoot scholarships. Now good students, their grades were once the cause of concern.
We couldn't teach him and were unable to help him with his homework, so his grades were not ideal.
Since this January, Tzu Chings began providing tutoring for the brother and sister every Thursday night.
Every Thursday night, as long as I have time, I will definitely come over.
However, things weren't easy in the beginning. The brother and sister lacked confidence in their studies and often didn't want to do their homework.
I remember the first day, it was very awkward. We sat there and he would only talk when I asked him something. Yet we have grown closer.
Tzu Chings didn't give up, and after almost a year of hard work, the children's grades have shown improvement.
Although he is still a bit slow, he is starting to get his multiplication tables memorized.
Now she knows the phonetic spelling to some characters.
I won't let them down. I will try to do my best. I received a character award recently.
Last Saturday, November 8th, marked the one-year anniversary of Typhoon Haiyan. Commemoration ceremonies were held throughout Tacloban City in remembrance of the thousands who lost their lives in the disaster, with thousands of local residents as well as NGOs, including Tzu Chi, taking part in a commemorative walk to mark the day. Let's take a look.
It's just past 5 in the morning, and the streets of Tacloban City are already filled with people. Whether traveling on foot or by car, thousands of residents marched through the city to remember loved ones and mark the one-year anniversary of Typhoon Haiyan.
Today, many local residents and students rose early to make their way to the local sports stadium. Policemen and firefighters, as well as humanitarian relief organizations that partook in the relief efforts, are also among the crowd. A year after Typhoon Haiyan, the blue and white clad Tzu Chi volunteers continue to serve here. Today, volunteers were invited to take part in a commemorative walk in memory of those who lost their lives in the disaster. Merely saying thank you was not enough. Residents cheered Tzu Chi as volunteers make their way through the streets. In the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, Tzu Chi implemented a Cash for Work program that has not only helped restore devastated areas, but also revived hope.
Thank you for your help. Thank you for your help.
Seeing Tzu Chi volunteers passing by, Marianne and her daughter rush out to greet them.
Tzu Chi Foundation really helped us a lot with the cash for work, everything, and with the money, the donations. It really keep us started.
I just want to thank the volunteers, because if not for the volunteers, the road would not have been cleared, because the debris was until where? The debris was until here.
Along the streets, posters and banners have been put up on the walls by Typhoon Haiyan survivors, expressing their thanks to Tzu Chi. The words "thank you" are two small words that have big meaning. A young man drives his parents in his pedicab to carve out a path for Tzu Chi volunteers. The poster in their hands read, "We will never forget you, we love you."
The typhoon destroyed my home, but I managed to repair the walls with the money I earned from the Cash for Work program. It was all thanks to Tzu Chi. We are extremely happy and so grateful. We were even able to help some of our relatives in Leyte with the money.
Director of the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter, Alfredo Lee, expressed appreciation and thanks on behalf of Master Zheng Yan to Archbishop of Palo, John Du.
Thank you very much for the church support to us during our relief mission.
Yeah, thank you also very much.
And Master Ching is extending her personal invitation to you to visit our headquarters in Taiwan.
In remembrance of those who perished during the disaster, a memorial mass led by the Archbishop was held in Tacloban City.
The Lord be with you.
And I would like to thank in a special way the Tzu Chi Buddhist Foundation for taking a lead in the relief and rehabilitation efforts here in Tacloban and in the region right after Typhoon Yolanda. And my special thanks to Master Cheng Yan.
At the Holy Cross Memorial Gardens, where some 2,000 storm victims are buried, families and relatives bring flowers to remember their loved ones. Although the flowers will eventually wither and die, however, the blessings and prayers will always remain. A year ago, Typhoon Haiyan struck central Philippines, leaving tens of thousands of people dead or missing and millions homeless. In commemoration of the one-year anniversary of the disaster, the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter held an event at the prefab housing site in Palo and invited Typhoon Haiyan survivors, local government officials, as well as humanitarian relief organizations to take part. Although it has been a year since Typhoon Haiyan, residents longing for their departed loved ones still lingers.
We gather here today to bless this gravesite and to pray for our brothers and sisters.
In November of 2013, Typhoon Haiyan claimed the lives of more than 6,300 people and left some 25,000 missing. The typhoon damaged practically everything in its path. However, it was love that lifted the city out from the ruins.
1, 2, 3.
Seeing their faces being here during the first week, like Tzu Chi, the United Nations, I cannot name all, but there are lots of them who are here, and it calmed them down. It made them stand up and work.
In commemoration of the one-year anniversary, Tzu Chi organized a memorial service at the prefab housing site and invited local government officials and members of the public to take part.
So a house is a very
special symbol, especially to the Filipinos, where if you don't have a house, you have no identity. So giving a house is a very good beginning for our people, and I think it assures them of a better future.
Love begets love.
Love begets love, and this village right here is a village of great love. Let us show our great love for each other and the Almighty.
1 year ago, when the Philippines was confronted with loss and destruction, various religious groups and international humanitarian relief organizations came together with a common purpose.
I think that there's still a lot of work to be done. It's not finished by a long way, but everybody's working together, international organizations, Filipino organizations, all working together as one family, as Tzu Chi.
After the calamity, I think we can join hand in hand, and with a lot of love from everybody.
This natural disaster has brought out the solidarity and empathy of the international community and has further shown the Filipinos that love indeed exists in the world. In celebration of the 25th anniversary of Tzu Chi's education mission, students of Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School's elementary department in Taiwan made handcrafts for a charity sale as they hope to share their love with more people. We leave you with these images at the end of our show. Thank you for watching. See you next week.
We wish you forever peace and joy. Love walks tall while sharing smiles. Love's found in silent gratitudes.